to play along. Your feelings are blind, so you don't really mind if it's right or wrong. What they've done, the end's just begun to fill the end. The end is inside and the part of the fight now. It's worrying. Yours and mine. They're alright, stand on, they're with a hand.
Now then. I'm back, but maybe don't broadcast it. Bloody hell, the sun's in my eyes. Yeah, I've been lying low. For those who watch my videos regularly, you'll know that following the last one, which was a couple of weeks ago, I have never, in all my 150 or so videos, had so much hostility and vitriol targeted towards me. I mean, people who I thought were friends, particularly those across the pond, have been sharpening their pitchforks and beginning to prepare to set sail across the Atlantic to hunt me down for having the audacity to call out the Dylan biopic as a pile of crap. And so it's been a difficult time. Happily the art police, because I am an informer for the art police, I mean it's out there now, I might as well admit it and come clean. They've had me in a safe house. Well, I say house, they've had me hidden under Tracy Emin's bed for the last 2 weeks, and yeah, so it's been pretty horrendous. But I am committed to calling out things that masquerade as art, whether it be film, music or anything by Damien Hirst. But anyway, enough of that. Let's hope the dust has settled a bit. I'm really not going to go there again. I mean, I know what I've done wrong. I mean, it wasn't a film review. I just said this film's crap, don't waste your time and money on it. And I thought people would just take my word for it, but I really should and could have spent 40 minutes talking about why I thought it was crap, why I think the biopic formula is altogether inherently problematic, but I didn't. I spent 5 minutes, I just said it was crap rather glibly, and I got hammered for it. So there we are. So I haven't come out from hiding. I just needed to get outside in the fair, and I noticed there was a record fair in my hometown actually on Sunday, so I went along there, and I'm just going to talk about some of the records I picked up there. Although it did remind me, going along to that record fair did remind me of why I don't generally go to record fairs. I mean, I love record shops, I love browsing around record shops, I love nothing more than browsing around record shops. So why don't I go to record fairs? It's just like loads of shops, isn't it? So it should be great. But, and I don't know whether this is peculiar to my hometown or whether this is more general, they always seem to book a hall that's too small. I got there on opening time, and for 10 minutes it was okay, it was bearable, but within 10-15 minutes it was far too packed. I'm big enough anyway, so I can, elbows, and used to fighting to get to the bar and things, so I could manage, but it just wasn't pleasurable. Far too little space to get around. And then secondly, people who cram too many records into the crates, so you can't have a good sort of leisurely browse through them and appreciate, you want to see half the front cover and appreciate who it is and what version it is of that album or whatever. And I think all but 2 of the stalls in this record fair, there were far too, there was a midges between each one. You could just, but you had to slide the record out to appreciate what the heck it was. And in that sort of crowd, not pleasurable, but I did manage to pick up in the 40 minutes or so I was there, I picked up 5 real beauties actually, starting with that one by Family. I mean, Family, I sort of bought it because for 2 reasons really. One, Family are a band that for whatever reason sort of passed me by a bit at the time. I was obviously aware of them. I liked their singles generally, but I never really got into them back in the day in the early 70s. Not in the way that I did with other rock and even prog bands. And so, you know, I've got one Family album there anyway, which is in poor nick actually, and I rarely play it. And I've got some sort of compilation on CD, again, very, very rarely played. But this one was there. This is a song for me from, what year is it from? I've made a note. It's from 1970. It's their 3rd album. And I thought, I'll pick this up for that reason, that they passed me by at the time, but also for the other reason that I have a friend who is a Family and Roger Chapman groupie. For him, Roger Chapman, it would be an understatement to say that the sun shines from his orifices, but and so I thought, yeah, for Michael's sake, I should give this band more of a chance, and so I bought it without really any sort of expectations. But what a cracker! I don't know why I've sort of doubted really for so long. This is an absolutely stunning album. That opening track, Drowned in Wine, sets the tone for just a brilliant album. And if anyone is in any doubt at the vocal majesty of Roger Chapman's voice and the brilliance of Charlie Whitney's guitar playing particularly, then this would settle that. So Family, song for me from 1970, Family's 3rd album. The second one I picked up, and this is thanks to Andy Edwards, who has a channel on YouTube that I watch regularly. I like his channel, although lately he's gotten very negative because I think it gets more views. So he's, 10 bands I hate, 10 biggest wankers in rock music, or whatever, those sorts of things. But Andy is I've said before, he is a musician himself, top level drummer. I think he teaches music and stuff, so he knows his stuff. He knows his jazz, he knows his jazz fusion, he knows his prog, and he often waxes lyrical about Focus 3. And this is another band that I used to have one of their other albums, Moving Waves, probably. It's gone in the mist of times, I've lost it, and it's a band I've just not really picked up on. And so for Andy, I picked up a copy of this really cheap, Focus 3. It's a double album, includes the hit single which I remember well, Sylvia, but I'll give that a good go. I haven't given it a go yet, so yeah, Focus 3 from 1972 I think. The next one, I'm a Johnny Come Lately to John Mayall. Actually, I picked up his Turning Point album, was it, last year, and was really blown away with it. It was really good. So this is Blues from Laurel Canyon from 1968. This is Mayall's first album after the breakup of his Blues Breakers band. And this is gorgeous stuff. This is blues, but it's laid back blues. There's Mick Taylor on guitar. It's a sort of 4-piece blues band really, but lovely laid back stuff from 1968. John Mayall, Blues from Laurel Canyon. Then the fourth one I picked up was it's actually it's not an original present. It's a reissue on the Domino label, but of the Buzzcocks first album. And I used to have this back in the day. Music in a Different Kitchen. Their first album, 1978. great stuff. Typical Buzzcocks, until you get to the last track, which is a sort of 7 or 8 minute epic. But lovely songs. I love the opener actually, Fast Cars, where somebody railing against how much they hate fast cars, which I can identify with. But great stuff all the way through on, you know, forlorn love, the human condition, capitalism and need and greed. Yeah, great stuff. Buzzcocks, Music in a Different Kitchen, 1978. And the other thing I liked about this, one of the reasons I picked it up, was I do like it when you get these little additions. If you're going to reissue something, you know, give a little bit extra. And this is a lovely little booklet with an essay from John Savage, who was a big fan at the time. Lyrics, photographs of the band. Really nicely done. Well done. Domino Records, that's the Buzzcocks. And then lastly, and the one I was most pleased to get, and this has proved the case in the listening as well, is Alan Hull's second album, Squire. Alan Hull, of course, famous from being the main songwriter with the band Lindisfarne. Absolutely love Alan Hull. He was, some people sort of coined the phrase the Geordie Dylan back in the 70s, and I think listening to this I would say is the Geordie Lennon, John Lennon that is, perhaps rather than the Dylan. I think a lot of the tracks on this album are really reminiscent of some of John Lennon's post-Beatles work, in a good way, really strong songs. This is Squire, which is partly it's the soundtrack, or it's based on the soundtrack of a play that Alan Hull starred in and wrote the music for, which is up there on YouTube, and I vaguely remember it from the day, but I'm certainly going to look it up and have another watch of that. But Alan Hull, Squire, from what year was that? 1975. I think it was recorded in the year before that, but released in 75. Brilliant stuff. So there were my 5 from the Record Fair. We're going to go out with one of the... which one should I put on? I think I'll put Bad Side of Town, which is Alan Hull talking about the side of Newcastle. That's the west side, Benwell and Co. that he came from. So this is Alan Hull, Bad Side of Town from Squire. There it is, as if by magic. See you next time.
And the children play with the children, and the children always